Radio, BSAC Radio, BSAC Radio, BSAC Radio. You hear the record spinning, yeah, we reppin' every episode. Unashamed of what he's giving us, we preach it everywhere we go. BSAC Radio, BSAC Radio, BSAC Radio, BSAC Radio.
Our special guest for these 2 hours has been John Wells, also known as Tonic from Cross Movement. Just great to have him aboard today, just speaking some truth, man, talking about, what's going on, what, is happening in the genre. And just from a point of view of someone who helped to really bring this genre to where it is, just honestly speaking. And John, I want to kind of start right here. You guys, I remember going to Houston. I was in Lafayette, Louisiana, and I went to Houston, Texas. You guys had linked up with Trey Nine, I want to say his name is, and did and you guys did a concert at a church there, and it was a free concert. So me and a few people drove from Lafayette to Houston to go check it out, and I remember you guys being about wanting to bridge that gap between what you were doing and the church, and for the church to see, hey, this is a viable ministry. We're reaching this culture. I want to ask you, as one who helped to do that, how does it make you feel? It seemed like it's shifted now to where I don't want to be really associated with the label of Christian. And, I'm not trying to be all churchy. I want to reach mainly the people who, are not in the church, which is not a bad thing. And I know this debate has been going on for years and years and years. Right. But, it seemed like you guys were really forging a way to show the church, hey, man, this is what's up. We're reaching these people. And now it seemed like there's a shift to like, nah, we're not trying to do that anymore. Now it's about getting it in real good with the world.
Yeah, man. I can say that I feel good about that. I think anytime I see that, it's a hurtful thing for me. And especially when it seems like I've watched enough now to see where it's almost become a movement where, like, it seems like believers are willing to undress the church in public and laugh at her.
Come
you know
on,
what I mean? So
yes.
we air the dirty laundry about the church or our weaknesses or whatever they may be, and use that as almost like a way to kind of lock arms with people who we're not in community with, or we're not necessarily family with from a covenant standpoint. And so, I hate when I see that. That's a real hurtful thing. I wish that we wouldn't do that. But at the same time, I think what I'm noticing, man, and again, like I said, I think a lot of fingers get pointed at some of the personalities and at some of the, the leading in the CHH game. But I'm starting to realize, man, I heard somebody say, sometimes people's heroes tell you more about people than they do about the hero. And I've noticed that to be true in a number of cases. But more specifically, what I'm realizing is there's a public. It's not just the folks that's doing the music. There's a public that wants to see something. And like you said, this is an old argument.
Yes.
Like, you even hear you playing songs back from the late 90s, early 2000s, and I'm getting at the same issues. And if you listen to those albums, you'll hear, like, this is not new. Like, I think it's taken on a different face and different form, but a lot of this stuff, most definitely isn't new. But
I would say it's an age old discussion. I remember the Tunnel Rats and that whole thing, with them and then Cross Movement and all this kind of stuff. But what I'm seeing now is much more, I guess, success. For whatever the world you may term success to be. In that happening, and I'm seeing a lot of younger cats latching on and saying, "Man, this is the blueprint."
Right. And that's what I was going to say. I'm sorry, that was what I was saying. Kind of people kind of showing us what they really want. Like, there's a group of people who have always wanted, for whatever reason, as young Christians, as immature Christians, even as some mature Christians, sometimes there's a thing that we fight inside of us that's about, man, I wish that we could just get the recognition that some of our heroes of the world get. We love, man, if we could just see that in hip-hop, in Christian hip-hop, man, how great would that be? And for us, it kind of leads us to think that that's what success is, whether regular or biblical. Like, man, God looks so pitiful. I wish, like, when is the world going to step up and recognize that we just as good MCs? Our music sells just as much as everybody else's music. We can do it on the same level. And unfortunately, we end up disappointed quite often, whether in scripture or in real life, when we see God's economy just doesn't work that way.
BSAC Radio, BSAC Radio, BSAC Radio, BSAC Radio.